The fluorescent lights in the hospital waiting room hum quietly, always on, always the same pale glow no matter what hour it is outside. You are sitting in one of those vinyl chairs, the kind that squeaks when you shift your weight, and you are not the patient tonight, but you are here, and you are so tired you can barely keep your eyes open. Not sleepy tired. The other kind. The kind where your chest feels heavy and your thoughts move slowly and you wonder how many more nights like this you can carry before something in you finally gives way. This is the particular weariness that comes at the end of a long day when you have given what you could, and it still was not enough, and now you sit under cold light with nothing left to offer but your quiet presence and the dim hope that morning will feel kinder. Let me sit with you for a moment. Not to fix anything. Not to rush you toward optimism or tell you that everything will be fine by dawn. Just to name what you already know but may not have had the chance to say aloud. You are emotionally drained tonight. Drained in a way that goes deeper than one hard day. It is the accumulation. The text you answered kindly when you had no kindness left. The decisions you made alone. The person who needed you and the other person who also needed you and the impossible math of trying to be enough for both. The waiting itself, which is its own kind of labor. And now, here in this bright quiet room that smells faintly of disinfectant and old coffee, you are too tired to pretend you are holding up well. There is a type of wisdom, old and practical, that speaks directly to this moment. Not the wisdom that tells you to be stronger or push through or find the silver lining. The other kind. The kind that begins by acknowledging what is actually in your control and what is not. It is a way of thinking that does not ask you to feel differently, but to place your attention differently, so that the heaviness you carry does not crush you quite so completely. The Stoics, those old teachers who lived through plagues and exiles and waiting rooms of their own, had a way of naming this. They said that suffering comes not only from hard circumstances, but from the way we tangle ourselves in what we cannot change. And the first act of care, the first kindness we can offer ourselves when we are this tired, is to stop trying to carry what was never ours to carry in the first place. Let me tell you about someone I knew years ago, a nurse who worked night shifts in a hospital much like this one. She was not a student. She was older than me, actually, and we met not in a classroom but in a moment much like yours, sitting in hard chairs, waiting for news about someone we both cared for. We did not talk much that night. But later, over tea in her small kitchen on a Sunday afternoon, she told me something I have not forgotten. She said that the hardest part of her work was not the emergencies or the grief or even the exhaustion. It was the feeling, at the end of each shift, that she should have done more. That if she had been smarter, kinder, faster, less human, she might have saved someone an hour of pain or caught a problem before it became a crisis. She said she used to carry that feeling home with her, into her sleep, into her dreams, until she could barely tell the difference between her own tiredness and her patient's suffering. What changed for her, she said, was not that she stopped caring. It was that she learned to ask herself one question at the end of each shift. Not did I do enough, but did I do what was mine to do? The distinction is small but it changes everything. Because the first question has no answer. There is always more. There is always someone else who needed something, some task left undone, some outcome that went differently than you hoped. But the second question has an answer. And most nights, if you are honest, the answer is yes. You did what was yours to do. You showed up. You made the choice that was in front of you. You gave what you had, even when what you had was very little. That is not failure. That is dignity. The old teacher Epictetus, who had been a slave before he became a philosopher, used to say that we suffer most when we confuse what belongs to us with what does not. He did not mean this in a cold way. He meant it as a kindness. Because when you are carrying the weight of outcomes you cannot control, when you are trying to be responsible for other people's pain or other people's choices or the way the world turns without asking your permission, you are carrying a burden that will break you. Not because you are weak. Because it is not yours. And no amount of effort or love or sleeplessness will make it yours. What is yours is smaller, and also more sacred. Your attention. Your next action. The way you speak to yourself in this bright waiting room when no one else is listening. So let us make this smaller tonight. Let us take the heaviness you are feeling and see if we can separate what is true from what is extra. You are tired. That is true. You have given a great deal today. That is true. Someone you care for is struggling, or you are waiting for news, or you made a decision that did not go the way you hoped. True. But here is what is not true, even though it feels true right now. That you are failing. That you should have done more. That this tiredness means you are not strong enough or good enough, or that you will always feel this way. Those thoughts are not truth. They are exhaustion speaking in the voice of truth. And you do not have to believe them. What you can do instead, right now, is this. You can notice where you are. A waiting room. A chair. A particular quality of light. You can feel the weight of your own body, which has carried you through this entire day and is still here, still breathing. You can name, quietly, what was actually in your control today and what was not. And then, without judgment, you can let go of what was never yours to hold. Not because it does not matter, but because holding it does not help. It does not change the outcome. It only makes you smaller and more alone. The kindest thing you can do for yourself tonight, and the most useful thing, is to stop trying to control what you cannot and return your attention to what you can. The next breath. The next small choice. The decision to rest when rest is what your body is asking for. There is a line of thinking that says rest is weak, that if you are not pushing through, you are giving up. But that is not wisdom. That is just noise. Real strength, the kind that lasts, knows when to stop. Knows that there is a difference between endurance and stubbornness. Knows that sometimes the most disciplined thing you can do is admit you are tired and let yourself be tired without shame. The Stoics understood this. They did not teach relentless striving. They taught something quieter. That you do what is yours to do, and then you let the rest go. That you meet the day with what you have, not with what you wish you had. That you do not judge yourself for being human in a world that asks for more than any single human can give. So here is what I want you to take with you tonight. Not a command. Not a prescription. Just a small piece of order you can return to when the heaviness comes back. You are not required to carry what is not yours. You are not failing when you reach the edge of what you can do. And rest, real rest, is not the absence of care. It is the presence of wisdom. It is you saying, quietly, to yourself and to the world, I have done what was mine to do today, and now I will let my body do what it needs to do, which is recover so I can meet tomorrow without bitterness or collapse. The waiting room will still be here. The fluorescent lights will still hum. But you do not have to carry all of this alone, and you do not have to carry it tonight. Let the night do what the night does. Let your mind slow. Let the questions you cannot answer sit unanswered for a while. They will still be there in the morning if they need to be. But right now, what you need most is not another answer. It is permission to stop searching for one. Close your eyes if you can. Let the chair hold you. Let the heaviness be heavy without trying to lift it. You are here. You are enough. And tomorrow, when you are rested, you will do what is yours to do again. Not because you are strong in some loud, bright way, but because you know how to tell the difference between what is yours and what is not, and that quiet knowledge is the steadiest kind of strength there is.